wishing the well. Don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I trade my soul for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way.
Okay, so when you're in the lab, you want to have your hair tied back because you don't want that to get into your experiment. And then you're also going to want to put on a lab coat because if you spill things on your clothes, you sometimes can't get the stains out. Or also you could get burned by an acid. So keeping also you want to put on gloves because you don't want acids to touch your skin and possibly burn them. And you know, gloves are sometimes a little hard to put on. Okay. And so you're still putting on your gloves at this point. And next you're going to want to put on your safety goggles because there could be things that could, MSDS, you want to check everything on MSDS before you use it.
When removing any chemicals from the locked chemical cabinet, doctor must be present at all times when unlocking chemicals from the locked chemical cabinet. Only pull out the chemical that you need, and once you're done, lock the cabinet again, making sure doctor is present at all times. And this ensures your safety with chemicals. Everyone's happy. Thumbs up.
Okay, so when you start your experiment, you're going to want to clean your area by first wiping it down. And then you're going to want to cover your area with one of the pads. And then you can start your experiment.
When using any chemical or solution in the lab, make sure that the cap is only unscrewed for the amount of time that it needs to be unscrewed after you pour the desired amount. And then you're good.
So when you're using instruments, they're sometimes going to need power, so you want to plug them into an outlet. But don't do what Hannah is doing there because the wire is crossing over to the sink, and water and electricity is...
When measuring any chemical substance, you're going to want to use an analytical balance to get your desired amount and use a measuring boat to pour your chemical in like Irene has shown here. However, you do not want to pour chemicals back into their container. No, stop. Bad.
Okay, well, sometimes in your lab, some accidents happen, oops, things are spilled now. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check MSDS for the proper protocol, and then yell for doctor, doctor, doctor. And then when you figure out the right thing, so if this is an acid, for example, you're going to want to pour your sodium bicarbonate on it as fast as you can. Okay, sprinkle that on. Okay.
With the sodium bicarbonate, you're going to want to pour that all over the surface like we've done here and let it absorb.
Then you're going to want to clean your stuff up and wipe it down. With gloves on and paper towels.
Once again, after completing your experiment, you're going to want to clean the lab surface down with a wipe, but make sure you use gloves during this too because there are harmful chemicals in those cleaning surface. Thumbs up and you can walk away now.
So after you're done conducting your experiment, you're going to want to clean your items and rinse them thoroughly in the sink.
Sometimes when you're trying to get rid of the chemicals you use, you can pour them down in the sink. However, if they're dangerous like E. coli, you can't. But with a sodium chloride solution, you can. You're going to want to let the water run for a while, then pour down your chemicals, and then again let the water run to completely rinse all the chemicals away from the sink, like Irene has done. And then shut the water off because we're in a drought.
Okay, so if you're working with bacteria like E. coli, you're going to have to bleach it before you dispose of it, and then you're going to want to put it in the biohazard waste bin. And just pour it in there and make sure that it's not in the sink.
Sometimes if your experiment is over the course of a couple of days, you're going to want to store your chemicals. However, you cannot store them in a beaker. That's very bad. So what do? Well, you store them in an Erlenmeyer flask, labeled and with tin foil on, and then you're all set and can use those chemicals for the next few days. Nice.
So sometimes when you're working with strong chemicals, you have to use the fume hood. Well, don't do what she's doing. You can only put the sash half up and don't stick your head in there or waft it because you'll probably die from fumes. So you're going to want to keep the sash at the mark on the side of the fume hood, and then you want to keep your hands in and practice safe procedures. And then you can have success.
We've all been there. Sometimes experimenting, you get a little hungry. However, you cannot eat in the lab, especially by the chemical cabinet. Not safe. They're dangerous and harmful, and this is not good.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to put on gloves properly. So you're going to want to, stick your hands in, try not to touch the outside of the glove too much, and then you're going to want to put on your other hand because you want 2 gloves normally because you use both your hands during your experiment. And sometimes they're a little hard to get on, but you got to make sure your fingers all go in individual finger holes.
After you are done with your experiment, you're going to want to dispose of gloves by pinching the glove with one hand, pulling it off, and then sticking 2 fingers under the other glove and try not to touch the outside of the glove and then throw them away. But you're not Steph Curry, so make sure they get into the trash.
That's chemical safety, everyone. Great success.